ABC Weather Lab. Here's Eric's forecast.
Finally, we were able to get a dry day for the weekend as we've seen mostly sunny skies for a good portion of it, Katie. And over the last couple hours, we have seen one or two stray showers, but for the most part, we have stayed dry and temperatures weren't all that bad, officially topping out at 91. But most of the day, we were right around the upper 90s and heat indices only in the mid 90s. But it does look like rain chances will be returning to the forecast heading into tomorrow and into the first half of the work week. So let's look at the water vapor and explain why we kind of got this dry day today. We continue to have this very similar pattern. A weak area of low pressure off to our east that is now beginning to lift its way up into Alabama and Georgia. That's helping to pull some of the moisture off to the east. And then our upper level high, it's kind of retrograded and pushed a little bit back to the west. And so it's kept the moisture over Texas. And so we're kind of in between the two systems. And that's brought down some drier air in the upper levels. And you can see some of that brown shade showing up, not a whole lot. And that's why we saw a good bit of sunshine today. And those temperatures were able to heat up. You can see the clear skies across the northern portion, especially north of I-10. There's those few showers we have started to develop south of the interstate over the last couple hours, with more showers down towards New Orleans earlier today in Baton Rouge. But we'll take a closer look at some of these showers ongoing back through Vermilion Parish. You can see Delcombe, you've had a decent little shower that's now pushing over towards Abbeville. North Abbeville saw some rain. That's now beginning to fizzle out. And Forked Island did see a decent shower, maybe a rumble of thunder with that, but that's even beginning to fizzle out. And that's what we should expect. Most of these coastal showers will continue to die out over the next hour, and it should be a pretty pleasant evening. Temperature-wise, though, today, some areas got as high as 94, 95, especially north of the interstate. You can still see 91 for Jennings, 92 in Rayne, but as I mentioned earlier, 84 at Lafayette, but I think that's kind of misleading as it's over by the airport on that swamp with all the rain. That water's cooled off a little bit. The thermometer over at Rob's house is still recording 91, so I do think even here in the hub city we are still hanging on. The temperatures right around 90 degrees, but we will slowly begin to see those temperatures fall this evening. There you see the rain falling apart as far as the model, so we wake up to dry conditions for our Sunday, maybe a stray coastal shower, but eventually we'll see that moisture move inland throughout the day, so a little better rain chances for our Sunday. I'll go 30-40% chance for at least a passing shower at some point for our Sunday. Could even have some showers lingering into the evening as maybe a short wave drops down from the north and pushes across the area. So we will have to watch at least a couple different systems, maybe the sea breeze and then that short wave during the afternoon. So I do think a little better rain chance that you might see a passing shower tomorrow. And then a very similar story on Monday as we head back to work. Dry conditions in the morning before those hit or miss showers begin to develop during the afternoon. Checking the tropics, we continue to be watching this system, but it is really beginning the weekend over the last 24 hours. You can see those deep purples and red shades. Now just looking at some yellows and blues. That's because it's running into some upper level wind shear. That's beginning to weaken this system, and so the National Hurricane Center has dropped it all the way down to just a 20% chance. And I think as we look at this, it might be down to 0 by the time we head into tomorrow. So this thing looks to be falling apart and should be no concern for us here locally. The other system that's now riding up the East Coast, mainly staying offshore where the deep shades continue to be there, but a few showers along the eastern coast of Florida earlier this afternoon. In the Pacific, we continue to keep an eye on Tropical Storm Eric. That's now pushing west of the Hawaiian Islands. Flossie continues to be weakening, and it will be heading just to the north of the Big Island. So it does look like Hawaii got lucky and was able to get missed by both of these storms. And maybe they could see some heavier rains from Flossie as it gets a little closer to it by about Monday and the Tuesday, but not expecting a direct hit. And then we also later this afternoon got Tropical Storm Gil with 40-mile-an-hour winds in the eastern Pacific, but it does look like this is going to weaken and should fall apart within the next 42 to 72 hours. So not a whole lot going on in the tropics, and it looks like it's going to stay that way for at least the next 7 to 10 days, so that is the good news. But in the meantime, we'll just call it a very typical August night. Warm and muggy, 73 for that overnight low. 10% chance that we could have an early stray shower down towards the coast. And then for your Sunday, just more of the same. Hot and humid, high of 90. Feel like temperatures pushing the upper 90s with a 30-40% chance for a few of those scattered showers. We keep rain chances high through the first half of the work week, but temperatures still getting into the 90s even with those scattered showers. But if you do get the rain shower, it might briefly cool you off down into the 80s. Even overnight low is not terrible for August standards, but it does look like things really start to heat up as rain chances go down for the second half of the work week and into next week. But a pretty typical August forecast for the next 10 days.